It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations. Clear my throat. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste. 96 calories. Available for delivery. Dan, that cleared it. He went to L.A. on a mission. And let me be the first to say, mission complete. Because Dan, after an incredible, grueling, 2-week stretch covering the Rams, the Chargers, the Lakers, the Kings, and UCLA for Meadowlark Media, make no mistake about it, you are back.
Yes, after the big Sedano sit-down, we went down.
You did that, huh?
Yeah, we roped him in. It's the only reason we went.
He was here this weekend, Sonata.
He was?
Yes.
He sounds so
town.
good.
Yeah. He's great.
So professional on those broadcasts. He was faking it at the beginning, and now he's sparklers in the sky. He's so good at it.
He is. Practice makes perfect. Could have just waited a week, though. That's all I'm saying. But you had to cover the teams, and that's what you did.
I had to get it before he did the Virginia game. I had to get it exclusively first.
Speaking of back, Julio Jones?
You already used that one.
I know. It's just sitting there. I mean,
he was out of the league there, and then he played for the Titans.
It feels like yesterday I was hiding behind a pole at the Atlantis just spying on him playing cards.
It wasn't yesterday.
Yeah.
It was old enough, long enough ago for a receiver to get old.
Right. I hit something on my phone, and now I can't stop getting emails from Rocco Mediate. Roxy.
Is it Roxy?
It is.
Are you sure? It's not Rocky?
It's Roxy.
Are you sure?
Some people go Rocky. Some people go Roxy. I go Roxy. But I keep getting emails from the guy. I mean, he's not going to fix my golf game. Enough, you know? Thinks he can, though.
Are you guys getting a lot of political texts? I just can't get them to stop. I cannot get them to stop.
Just like a lot of spam texts, actually.
You text back stop.
I've done it many times.
And then you block the number.
Huh.
And then it doubles.
They find another way, though.
Yeah, I know. There's always a new one,
Yes.
kind of like whack-a-mole. But, you know, it hasn't been as bad for me as the presidential election.
Nikola Jokic has a chooch. The Joker. See that pass?
Such a great
Amazing.
pass.
Amazing. The best I've ever seen.
Mike,
since McHale.
They're 3-0. Mike, what are you shaking your head about?
Everyone wants to be obsessed with the Joker and Wembanyama. They should not be having your support thrown behind them.
They should be banned.
They have plenty of advantages.
So you are now lamenting the big man in the NBA. They're too big, it's unfair.
Just why do they need your help? They don't need any help. Wembanyama had a video that he put himself where he had his cell phone at eye length, and I'm convinced he's not a good basketball player now. It's just so easy.
Mike might be right about him.
It's like a Fisher-Price hoop.
Might be onto something with that.
You are not a sports fan if you're throwing your support behind Wembanyama. They must stop him.
Skinny legs.
He must be stopped. It's just not fair.
But he's not just doing tall guy stuff, Mike. Yeah. That's why he's so good.
Honestly, if you ask me, you should stick to the tall guy stuff.
Yeah, I'm with
you
you,
kind of
Mike.
want him out there dribbling.
Wow, you're talking out of the side of your mouth there. 0 for 6 from 3. 0 for 6. 0 for 6 from 3. Turnovers, fouls.
Just how about just put two arms up, hustle back on defense.
Yeah, get in the paint.
It's a little early on. Just hustle back on D, two hands up.
Just to be clear, your take on
Get on the blocks.
On Wembanyama is basically just run and dunk and dunk and block and dunk and block and dunk and block.
Stay close to the hoop.
Just know where your strengths are.
Mike out coaching Pop right now.
The Diamondbacks went with a classic called Fueled by Doubters, and we're keeping receipts. The old 1-2 punch. The D-backs. Dan, you know what the C in Clemson stands for?
I do not.
It stands for the CW. Next week, they should play on Comedy Central. Fueled by Doubters.
Dabo said he couldn't find it. He
Dabo.
Didn't know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dabo said he couldn't find the CW anywhere. Couldn't find it. Didn't know where to find it.
If he found it, he could have watched himself lose.
Not a Supernatural fan.
Mm-hmm. Fueled by Doubters, and we're taking receipts, is actually a good name for a country music song.
And a Schwarzenegger movie.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. Yeah, just put him on. Put 78-year-old Sylvester Stallone on a movie poster and put that underneath his name.
Hey, Dabo, God called. He wants his money back from the NIL deal that you made with him. If the committee leaves undefeated Air Force out of the playoffs, they should be tried for treason. Kevin Durant said the Warriors should retire his jersey someday.
No one gets tried for treason in this country.
The back of his retired jersey
They what? They win the next presidential election?
should read hired gun.
Treason.
Honestly, at this point, I'm just hoping Air Force can field the team come bowl season.
Treason.
They're good.
Because of treason.
The Falcons. Top 5 things the Warriors should put on the back of Kevin Durant's retired jersey. OLI. You chose Kyrie over Curry. Number 5. No one chooses the Nets. Number 4. Thanks for stopping by. Number 3. Sucker. Number 2. If you can't beat them, join them. Thanks, Mike. Number 1. 0 rings. Here come the Magic. Dusty Baker said this is not goodbye. Just see you later. Hey, Dusty, make up your mind. Also, the Stugotz is strong in you. Who does that? I do.
Okay. A moment of self-reflection.
Who do you think you are? I am.
In the event you were concerned, everything is just fine in Athens, Georgia. Do it against Alabama.
Weren't you the one who was concerned?
I was.
A couple of weekend
But everything's
observations
fine now.
ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm pretty much the one who I just learned in the hallway. They just told me, hey, Dan, the next Ngannou promo is going to have you saying how he had no chance.
Fueled by doubters and keeping receipts.
Deion Sanders, Florida Gators, collision course.
Matt rules better.
Miami Hurricanes, the rare win that felt like a loss. Miami should have had to run gassers after that win. I looked up my doctor's new office number, and now every time I log on, there he is, staring at me. Every time. He's staring at me now. It's weird.
Log on to what?
The internet.
He just logged on to the internet. And
That's not a thing that people do anymore. Remember, I miss logging on. It was a dialed.
Gotta kickstart it, you know?
What does it mean?
So old.
I just click Safari and
Welcome.
rapidly close tabs.
My
that I forgot
doctor's
were
staring
open.
at me, though. I mean,
you don't know how to get it off of
no.
your computer?
No.
You got mail.
Oh, I missed that.
Goodbye.
Messenger.
You would log out too.
That's how Dan and I used to communicate.
That's right. That's true. Right here in the
We
show.
still would if they
Yeah,
had
we
it.
would. We would still
would-
do it. It's still how
Wait,
we
what did you guys used to do? Tell me. Hold on.
Dude,
Tell
the
me.
day that I had to pry AOL Instant Messenger away from them,
Now-
I'm like,
but-
Gmail has this. You
now-
can chat on Gmail.
But now we don't even communicate. The show was so much better then.
Would you guys put it like an away message on breaks?
AOL Messenger ruined the
BRB
show.
bathroom.
USC, the rare 50 burger with a side of you should be ashamed of yourselves. Put this in the something to ponder file. With everything going on here and around the world, ask yourself this. Should we be wasting any of the FBI's time on the Michigan football program? No need to discuss
Yes,
it now.
yes,
100%.
absolutely.
It's
This
something
is
to
important.
ponder.
Devote more resources.
Yes.
Ponder file.
There's nothing more
Where's
important.
the DEA?
Dan, you know what the C in Corey Seager stands for?
I do not.
It stands for clutch. You know what the G in Arolis Garcia stands for? Grapefruits. You know what the D in Jacob DeGrom stands for? Don't get a ring in my personal record book.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
Wow.
Yeah, you were stuck on Garcia. What happened there?
I was trying to make sure there was a G in there. I was trying to just make sure. I thought sometimes with your accounting it can be a little off.
Garcia.
Yeah, no, I got it. But that's what you asked me what was happening, and I was telling you.
Got it.
What's happening.
0 points, plus 10 rebounds, plus 6 elbows, plus countless perfectly executed screens equals Al Horford. Rangers Diamondbacks. Greatest Game 1 in World Series history. Most of you will just have to take my word for it. I realize that's difficult. taking my word for it. Dan, you know what the C in Connor Stallion stands for?
I do not.
Stands for cheater. Connor Stallions.
Wow.
Great quarterback name. Chicago Bulls. The earliest players-only meeting in NBA history paid off
So good.
after a game.
Why didn't they just do it before the season started?
So good.
No one has thrown more meaningful first pitches in Major League Baseball history than George W. Bush, Mr. President. Scientists caught sperm.
Could have went W.
How could,
I don't know why.
How
I don't
could
know
we
what happened
long
there.
for that time? How is that possible?
It's
How-
a dud of a first pitch this time.
It bounced, yeah.
It was not good.
How Stugotz is just celebrating a time when that buffoonery led us and wasn't good enough.
Mr.
And,
President.
and I long for it,
I
but
mean, they're all
Stugotz is
Mr.
still out
Presidents.
here with Mr. President.
Scientists caught sperm defying one of the major laws of physics. Sir Isaac Newton. Fraud. The prince of physics, my ass.
Wow.
What goes up must come down. Are you sure? Jets. With a rare road win in their home building. Dan, you know what the P in Purdy stands for?
I do not.
Not proper protocol. The 49ers better be careful of Chris Nowinski because he might charge them with the murder of Brock Purdy.
Did you pronounce his name right?
I have no idea.
Okay, that's the concussion doctor. Stugotz has been making fun of us for using. It was a neurologist, the former wrestler.
Yeah.
He did want to accuse the Dolphins of murder.
Just telling the Niners to be careful. He's out there. Playing Utah in Salt Lake City on a Saturday night is vastly different than playing them on Saturday afternoon. One might say the difference is night and day. The Utes. You like that? The U in Utah stands for you aren't good enough.
Yeah.
Duke, still a basketball school. So is Carolina. Death, taxes, and that loss by Oklahoma. Brett Venables, the Bob Stoops, is strong in you. Will Levis, whoa. Dan, you know what the W in Will Levis stands for?
Whoa.
Good guess, but no, it stands for wow.
Oh, you really got me off the scent there. You led me in, you baited me, and you tricked me. I can't believe that.
There is a devil comet that has ice volcanoes and horns that was presumably shot straight from hell and is headed right for us. Anyone looking into it? Anyone else concerned? Anybody?
I believe that's Reuben Bain.
Horns?
Yes, it has horns.
Horns.
It's a devil comet.
A devil comet with horns.
Shot from hell. Speaking of hell, Art Briles. Dan, those are the weekend observations.
I'm going to try, Stugotz, to get to some of these things because I really do want to get to a funny moment that happened with my wife this weekend. Billy is burning on the World Series, and I don't want Game 1 to get lost because it was a lot of fun. And our coverage, a lot of people, I understand this, are complaining that our coverage as a show has been nobody cares about that World Series, and we inundated everyone in America with Panthers talk for many months.
Well, at least one ratings was up.
Okay.
Well,
but,
Roy has a Panthers show now too, Dan.
That's right, Dan.
thank you, Billy. That's after the game with Roy, the hot new podcast sensation supported by Billy Gill. Hopefully, Billy will be appearing on it with David Dwork as well.
Oh, I'll
because-
be there. Every Panthers game I go to, I will be on that post game.
because he's such a big supporter of all things Roy and of everyone here. After the game with Roy, if you want to find out
great name.
what is
The
happening.
logo should be in Times New Roman.
When is that? After the game. But I'm not going to be able to get to some of the things that I want to get to because Mike has put in front of me one of the most magical things that always tickles me, okay? This is off of El Classico and it is El Chiringuito, who is, for the uninitiated, just a quintessential Spanish language television broadcast personality who is always funny.
It's a show. It's a show. It's not an individual. It's an ensemble, and it's out of Spain. It airs in this country on Fox Sports Deportes, and it's appointment television all the time after big games, but especially if there's an El Clasico where the two biggest teams in Spain, Real Madrid and Barcelona, clash. And no matter the result, you know it's going to be overly dramatic. No one shoots a sports television show the way that El Chiringuito does. it's kind of filmed like 1997 ECW, with the camera always kind of zooming in and out, weird thunder clashes and lighting.
You would say it is classically Spanish television. It's like from a different time.
It's a Spanish tabloid, and it's unlike anything that there is in America, and you don't have to speak the language to enjoy it. But if you're ever going to watch it after a really dramatic El Clasico like this year's was. Barcelona had a 1-0 lead in their really cool Rolling Stones kits because they have a Spotify partnership, and then the Rolling Stones were in person to look miserable as Jude Bellingham bags a brace. 20 years old, Jude Bellingham might lay claim to the best English soccer player we've ever seen. At 20 years old, unafraid, coming from behind and winning this game almost single-handedly against Barcelona. He's already become a massive superstar in his homeland, but now he is transcended and is becoming already a Real Madrid icon at such a young age. Naturally, because his name is Jude, Hey Jude is often popularly sung around him, and this happens where on Chiringuito they have Barca fans and Real Madrid fans, and one Real Madrid fan took an opportunity to take the opportunity.
Hey Jude, has vuelto a palmar. En Madrid lucha hasta el final. Tranquilo, J. Jordi es la historia de tu vida y la de los culés. Bara, 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 ba, 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 bara,
It's just a wonderful taunt.
In the face of a Barca jersey-wearing supporter who has to take it. El Chiringuito never disappoints.
Why is it that is not more popular? Why?
Because it's in Spanish and hard to find.
But that translates.
Soccer's dead.
Yeah, I really miss Grant. There's so many moments where I miss texting with Grant Wall, not to make this all super sad, but texting Grant clips of El Chiringuito always brought me so much joy. And this was a weekend that I really missed Grant because he would have loved not just that game, not just the talents of Jude Bellingham, but that clip.
Stugotz is lashing out, Mike Ryan, because he wanted to complete his weekend observations, and he had to zip through them. He feels a little confined by time constraints, and he had to zip through them, and he had another page of material that on the fly, a master ad-libber, he had to throw to the side, and we never got to a page of weekend observations. And Stugotz is tired of not getting to his best stuff, and is just generally tired because he's zipping in here on a zip line to do God Bless Football with a more tired Billy, who then gets left with 15 hours of editing. But this page that was neglected, that hit the cutting room floor, do you want to try it? Do you want to?
It's not a full page. It's just a handful of
You had a bad top 5 in there that could have not.
It could have been better. Yeah, I agree with you.
Then you would have saved time and you could have done this.
No, but
page.
he doesn't
In
edit.
hindsight,
He doesn't edit them beforehand. He edits as he's going, and then turns to me and says, "See what a great job I did. I left the page out," but then says, "I had some good in there. We never got to it."
I mean, when has he ever cared about the clock with it? I appreciate it, actually. Clock discipline, but he can't cut the top 5. It's a benchmark within a benchmark now. It's benchmark inception.
But it was a bad top 5, to Billy's point.
I want to hear what he didn't say.
Okay.
All right, so let's see. It doesn't need any accompaniment. It is so strong, it lives on its own.
Did I do Will Levis? Whoa.
Yes,
I did that.
Whoa and
Okay.
wow.
All
Yes, you did.
Aaron Rodgers, NFL Coach of the Year, collision course. From 1 to 4 p.m. yesterday, somehow, watching the Jets win finally made me realize how they lost to the Patriots.
We're off to a rough start.
Kyle Shanahan. I'm laughing at the next
Definitely
team.
need bring up the music. It needs some music.
Sad without it.
Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, hold on. No, let's
Okay, that one's back.
That's
That's
good.
why he
That's
wanted
the
to
good
do
stuff.
them.
That's the
Yeah.
good stuff.
Brock Purdy. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Dan, you know what the B in Brock Purdy stands for?
Blah, blah, blah.
You nailed it.
But you didn't nail whoa.
He just wanted to do the
That was
blast.
wow. That was it.
Oh, it's too bad we didn't get to it.
Oh, wait. Music back. They tried to write off DeAndre Hopkins. He didn't write back.
Oh, no.
It's a good one.
No, I mean, come
Mike was
on.
stealing directly from him because that's a social video he shared.
It's a good
Come
one.
on.
It's a good one.
Billy, what's wrong?
I mean, I feel like we didn't miss much.
No, I cut out the right ones.
It was an amazing ad-libbing job by you. We should have all celebrated it on the fly. Could have done it before we started, but no, it's so great that he can do it and he can cut the bad stuff.
I realized why I skipped over all of them.
Master of efficiency. But in those weekend observations, Connor Stallions made an appearance, and it is a great quarterbacking name. You are not incorrect, but that is not why he's in the news.
This whole Michigan thing has been so fascinating because there's just been a slow trickle of news every single day for the last 2 weeks about it. And the latest is that, according to the Wall Street Journal, Michigan was going to offer Harbaugh a big extension, which now they have rescinded in wake of the scandal, or at least are tabling until there's some sort of resolution. And also, the NFL put out a report that the NFL may not be a safe harbor for Harbaugh. Wow, that was hard to say.
Wow.
If he wants
Safe
to go
haven, though.
safe haven for Harbaugh was the
You know
hard
what,
part.
though? I'm with you, though. I'm with safe harbor or safe haven. This is a tongue
It was
twister.
a tongue twister. If he wants to coach in the NFL, though, they might not let him do that.
Well,
Or
how
they
does
might
that work?
Discipline. They claim there's precedent because of Jim Tressel being disciplined when he left college because of NCAA infractions, which is very weird.
Tressel
There's also
was brought on as like a replay consultant by the Colts and had to serve, I believe, a 5-game
6
suspension.
games, I think.
Oh, there you
I think
go.
it was 6 games. But it's so weird because there's also 2 investigations. Like Stugotz referenced the FBI investigation. That's apparently not even related to sign stealing. That is because of their former co-offensive coordinator who was fired in January for computer crimes. That is what the FBI is investigating. And allegedly that has nothing to do with the sign stealing stuff. So I don't know there has not been too much reporting about what that entails and what this guy was actually doing, Matt Weiss. He was apparently using his computer from Schembechler Hall in unauthorized ways, and now that is the investigation that the FBI is looking into.
Couple fascinating details from this story as it keeps changing. The standing offer that would have made Jim Harbaugh the highest paid coach in the Big Ten has been pulled by the school. There was a detail that came out in the reporting last week that Michigan was sharing information on opposing teams to help themselves get into the college football playoff. Games that didn't actually feature Michigan in them, they were reaching out to staffs that could have assisted their cause. And also the detail that TCU was aware of the sign stealing. Remember the incredible start that TCU got off in that college football playoff, and they had dummy calls that apparently worked against Michigan. And what I would say as it pertains to Harbaugh in the NFL may end up punishing Jim Harbaugh for doing this in the NFL. Because I shared with you that detail last week that I knew someone on a Western Illinois staff that caught someone from Jack Harbaugh's staff videoing opposing sidelines. I forgot to mention that Jim Harbaugh was also on that Western Kentucky staff at the time. This would apparently go back a ways.
Beyond that, do you not find it weird that the NFL would protect its free minor league by not offering him?
That's the logic. You protect your free minor league, your feeder system, by imposing rules so they don't just get to jump. Because the institution will no doubt get punished, but the lead offender wouldn't?
The idea that Harbaugh would be a fugitive who could, to my way of thinking, Stugotz, run into the safe haven of the NFL, where no morality
Safe harbor.
is
Haven for Harbaugh.
Harbor.
harbor for Harbaugh. Harbor for Harbaugh. Haven.
That was the headline. It said safe harbor. I didn't make that up. That wasn't my.
No, but that's
okay.
fascinating. That's fascinating to me. The Tressel thing was over some tattoos, and I thought that was overstepping. This is wild. The idea that you would cost yourself this kind of money and this kind of opportunity because the NFL locks you out. They don't blackball coaches. They don't do that.
I mean, let's be honest. You think the NFL cares? They'd like to have Jim Harbaugh as a coach, but you think they care? Like, do you think it's going to move the needle for the NFL?
No, getting Dua Lipa to date another tight end would do more.
It's fascinating to see them protect their minor league free labor system that is crowdfunded. I don't have any idea why it is that Andrew Hawkins came in here and immediately placed an NFL football at the forefront of everything that we're doing.
Football Monday. What do you mean?
Is it because you grab footballs? Whatever room you're in, you're
Yeah.
going to grab the football and you're going to put it in a prominent place?
Just let everybody know what time it is. I set the tone early here.
Okay.
It's like you do.
Tom
It's
said
like
it.
you with nachos.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a little unusual, but we are here. We have not talked that much football today. We
know
haven't done it enough.
That's what Mondays are for.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure you guys' minds were right.
Well, I want to talk to you about something specifically because this was funny. My wife doesn't have any interest in football. She's basically horrified whenever she walks past the television during a goal line stand. I understand that the rest of us have gotten used to it and perhaps numb to it, but what's happening out there is a little bit crazy, so much so that in the 90 seconds that she was around the television yesterday, on the Red Zone channel, which is meant to keep me away from some of these things, she got the following, right? She got Scott Hansen saying there is bad injury news out of New York. And so she walks by one time and she says, of course there is. Then, right after that, Kenny Pickett is down and shaken up. And she just shouts from the other room, carnage! And then she asks, how many times, 90 seconds listening, how many times are they going to mention concussions? Because they went and did it like 3 times in those 90 seconds. And she also wanted to know why Wink Martindale was in pickle coverage. But she heard that part wrong.
That was okay. Yeah, that was different.
She wanted to know. That was the only thing that intrigued her. What's pickle coverage? That sounds interesting.
It's a brand of Speedo.
But it is the game show host.
You feel me back there? There it is.
It was good. Oh, look, you didn't get the Hakeem Nicks laugh, but you got the off microphone Chris Cody laugh.
That was good.
I felt it.
That Jets-Giants game, Stugotz is happy today to be 4-3.
Sure am.
Brian Daboll, not since Mario Cristobal, has a coach made a decision where you're like, you just lost the game, a truly terrible game that saves the Jets season.
I mean, in fairness, he had no idea Zach Wilson was going to do that, march down the field the way he did. I mean,
in fairness,
Zach Wilson
managed the clock perfectly.
Yes.
He did.
Perfectly
He did.
got it down to a second. What, Billy?
They may have gotten the rare home field clock cooking, even though they were technically on the road. And the referee, the official, I've never seen it. Like, they usually have to go grab the ball and spot it. Just, like, ran by, touched it, and kept running just so that they had time to spike it. Did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, we're taught in practice and never leave it to the refs because it is a crapshoot of what they'll do. Some will take their time. Some will say, hey, we know what you're trying to do. Let me give you a hand here. So you're taught in 2-minute drill, receiver, catch the ball, and then run as fast as you can just to hand it to the ref. They tell you actually not to set it because the ref will take it, find his spot, walk to a different place, and then you'll be at liberty of the referee.
But this one knew what was going on. He gave it to the center, and the ref just went and touched it like freeze tag and then got out of
rare.
the way. He
It's
gave him the
literally-
opportunity to do what they did.
It's the one ref that wouldn't have been like,
Yeah, no ego was involved in this, which was
no,
crazy.
he got to the ball, right.
That's what you want.
That
That's
was
what you
bending
want
over.
from the
Right.
referees.
You're not watching.
That's what you want. That's actually like not affecting the game. Like if he did it the other way, that is, although we see it so routinely, and
Affecting
that
the
is
outcome,
norm,
right.
that is affecting the outcome. We want you just to get out of the way and let's let us play.
Also, Giants, lay on him a little bit longer. They never call that. Just literally
Yeah,
1
that's
second longer,
also
and they
taught
could have
that.
won that game.
Well,
Also
no, here's
taught
the other
that.
thing. Lazard would have kept running had no one tackled him. Like, he would have kept running, and then someone would have tackled him at the 10. Game would have been over.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. It's crazy that I come and I set the tone by putting the NFL football up here, and I'm like, let's talk some ball, and you guys start off with Giants Jets. Maybe the worst football game.
It was the game of
that
the
I've
weekend.
seen. Yeah, it was.
Does anyone have any stats from that game? I want
There were like 25 punts. There were 15 just in the first
There were
half.
more punts than points.
I saw Zach Wilson's first third down conversion. It was a run. He was like 0 for 12 like prior to that. It was
the teams
terrible
combined
game.
at one point for 0 for 17, and I felt like I was in the second quarter.
It was
Like,
horrible. It was rainy. It was.
The Giants had a 99.9 win probability with 1:20 left.
Tell me about the decision of Daboll to kick the field goal there. He had 4th and 1, and he decided to kick a field goal. He could have ended the game with a 1-yard run.
Yeah, he wasn't feeling good about it. I don't know. I mean, we always talk about it. When the coach makes a decision, if it goes right, you're a genius. When it goes wrong, it's the dumbest thing ever.
But what about the process, though? Like, yeah, okay, we can criticize any result, but what about the process? If I tell you as an offensive player, you're up 3, you're both offenses, all game, you don't trust them. You can go up 6 in the rain, kick a field goal. A lot of things can go wrong there. Or you can get 1 yard against a tired Jets defense with DeVito as your quarterback.
Yeah, but the Jets defense is a stout defense, and what you're scared of is that they're going to flash as this defense that we know they can be on this play because they've gotten emotionally up for it. And then to your point, you're trusting Zach Wilson to go down there and score, and it's like I understand him taking his chances there.
The New York Giants had -9 net passing yards against the Jets, the fewest in NFL history.
Record breaking.
It was actually like the same outcome, though, right? Because if they don't get it, you get the ball in the exact same place with the same score. Here, you're telling them you need a touchdown to win. If you make it, which you assume you're going to make it, and you take more time off the clock. So it wasn't like a crazy decision.
No, I didn't
you just
think so.
Anticipate Graham Gano is going to make the field goal.
No, but here's the problem, Billy, with the call and why you should have ran the ball there. The only thing you were able to do yesterday against the Jets defense was run the ball.
Yeah.
Like Barkley had a good game. They had 203 yards on the ground. They needed 1 more yard.
Did he have a good game? He carried the ball like 40 times.
He had 128 yards against that defense.
And a lot of their passing yards were also essentially run plays. They were just throwing it to Barkley 4 yards away, really airing it out there.
But also in the second half, the Jets knew they weren't passing the ball. So they were expecting Barkley, and Barkley still got yards.
That's not how to play football in 2023.
Win to win, Dana.
I mean, none of that is how to play football. Come on.
4-3.
The thing that I thought was saddest about the Giants game was after Tommy DeVito went in, and I forget who the sideline reporter was for that game. She was saying that his backup is Saquon Barkley in the Wildcat if he gets hurt, and I was like, I already knew that. That's sad. I know the Giants' 4th string is Saquon. I shouldn't know that. It shouldn't happen that often.
Barkley averaged 3.6 yards yesterday.
Okay.
Hawk, can you explain to me, please, is it simply that Patrick Mahomes was sick and we don't understand how sick he must have been to play like that against a defense that gave up 70 points?
I think it's a couple of things. What the Chiefs are trying to figure out is they need a legitimate player at wide receiver that Patrick Mahomes feels good about and can depend on. And it hasn't shown to be the case for him. And until that happens, I think it will continue to look the way it does because you understand, okay, I'm going to take away Travis Swift. Once you take away Travis Swift out of the game, they don't have a lot of options outside of that, right? And not only, I mean, sometimes receivers will flash for the Chiefs, but it has not been consistent enough for Patrick Mahomes to sit back there and say, okay, if this isn't there, I'm going here.
I can't even imagine through your eyes what Tyreek Hill looks like. Through your eyes versus us.
Why? Because it's a different angle, or what you?
No,
what are you
because what has happened in Kansas City and Miami.
You're talking to the former quickest person on the planet.
Yeah, no. Right. I mean, Tyreek Hill was my favorite wide receiver, absolutely.
He's saying you can relate to him.
Yeah, no, of course, absolutely. And it's what, as a kid at the house, knowing that I wasn't going to get above 5'8".
I don't mean just relate, though. I mean, you must be fascinated to see a receiver take the balance of offense with him from one team to the other at that size.
I mean, they won the Super Bowl, Dan, without him.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I was going to get to. I don't think that it was straight up, I'm taking this offense and we're going to Miami with it. I think there's a lot of factors there, and I think Patrick Mahomes is the best football player on earth. And yes, Tyreek Hill is the most electric football player on earth, but Patrick Mahomes has more than enough ability to make up for what he's lost in Tyreek Hill. Same player.
He did it. Right.
No, you can't, but he has done
right.
it. And I think the problem is the more you go, it happened with Belichick and Tom Brady as well, right? Like you put these weapons around, and then somebody shows to be really good, especially at the quarterback position, and just slowly, it's not malicious or on purpose. You say, okay, well, let's see what you can do without this, because we'll now put more resources in these places. And then the talent just dwindles and dwindles and dwindles. And I'm not saying the Chiefs don't have talent, but they have a mindset that everybody is expendable because we have 15 back there.
But he was sick yesterday, correct? Like that 9 points happens because he's sick, correct?
It was a couple of things, man. It was drops. It was fumbles. It was the 4th and 2. Sky Moore gets a ball. He couldn't have went out there and handed it to him any better, and he's not making the plays, and that hurts momentum. And then the defense gets involved. Nick Bolton was out. So there's so many factors to it. I can't say that I worry about it at all. Like, literally. I know there's a lot of teams that have tough losses this year that we thought were good and that those losses shouldn't have happened. The Chiefs are the one team I never worry about because Patrick Mahomes is the best player on earth, and he can recalibrate every single time. No matter what the issue is, him and Andy Reid will figure it out, and they will still be in the Super Bowl.
Stugotz, there were a couple of plays yesterday. Correct me if my eyes are lying to me on this, because Addison rips that ball out of Ward's hands 60 yards down the field in that Niners-Vikings game, and there were 2 or 3 times yesterday with both the wide receiver and the defensive back have the ball together at the same time. And did you see this play with Njoku where a guy intercepts the ball on an overthrow to Njoku, and all he does as that guy is trying to get up is hit the football and cause a fumble and then recover it? And I didn't know what the ruling should be there, but does it seem to you that the precision of these people is such that that you just can't believe that everyone's getting to the ball at the same time when these things are this precise?
It's not crazy to me. That is how it works. Like that's. I mean, I guess you see, just in broadcast now, it's like the concussions too, right? The hard hits. Like you see them more now because the angles are there, and you really, it's in HD and 4K, and they've always been there. That precision has always been like that. That's why the rules are there. If both guys are there at the same time, it goes to the offense. Because so often these are both incredible athletes who are playing the ball and had the same timing, may the best man win. So it's not a surprise to me, but I can see from a fan's perspective.
It just seems like it's happening. Do I have this wrong? It just seems like it's happening more to me yesterday. What I'm looking at, because I don't expect any wide receiver in that league to be coverable. Period. I don't expect anybody one-on-one to be able to cover the highest levels of that sport, where a quarterback can put it, where a wide receiver. It's why Kelsey's not stoppable.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised by that. DBs are the best athletes in the NFL. They just can't catch. That's the problem. It's like if they could catch, they would play wide receiver.
Why are you smiling, Mike? Why are you showing me a 30-second?
Wow, Dan, that's supposed to be a little behind the scenes.
That's supposed to be just for you. Why would you call it
a big step, though?
Because there's 30 seconds left, Dan. That's why.
Now there's 15. Switch that up. There we go.
There you go. Wow.
Yeah.
But this is how much did we pay them for that?
You guys are not pros. Not pros.
Hold on, get to 5.
Hold on. 5.
It's always been your fingers.
1 second.
We'll be back.